Race 4 of the 2024 Season 6 for the Area Cup Series takes us to NASCAR's hometown, Charlotte, USA. Welcome to North Carolina. Kyle Heyer joined by Finian DeCuna and Hunter Sleppy. And Finian, welcome back aboard. After a week at the Tricky Triangle, we head back to more familiar territory on a 4-turn quad oval.
Yeah, I'm sure some of these drivers are excited to get back to some more of a traditional oval track for them to perform at. And we're going to see probably a different group of drivers up near the top than what we saw at Pocono. And the season is still very young, and it's not too late for drivers to start to get some really good pushes, really good finishes in the points to get some solid points in the board for the playoffs.
Yeah, we're 25% through to the regular season, and it's already time to start looking at where you're at in the point standings. Guys that are deep in the standings need to figure out how they can manage to climb up the ranks and try to make their way into the playoffs. Or, Kyle, they can just simply win a race here at Charlotte or any of the other tracks as we go through the season.
Yeah, win and you're in. And as we're 4 rounds into the season now, we sort of have an idea of the drivers that are going to be at the top of the order. But, Finian, as I mentioned last week, we're heading to some more traditional racetracks. Of course, we've got Charlotte here this week. We've got Dover next week. Sonoma, which I guess you could call traditional. It's been on a NASCAR schedule for quite some time. Some short track racing, and then Darlington in the next 4 rounds. So we're back on some more traditional racetracks. That means you're going to see some of the names that we'll see probably in the playoffs because they are also at some familiar racetracks with some short track racing there towards the end as well, Finian. So this is where we start to get to see the cream rise to the top.
Yeah, they're already starting to rise to the top on the scoring pile, and they're looking at qualifying here. Reminder, again, 1 lap only for these drivers in a short 5-minute session. Currently at the top of the board is Jonathan Oates in the 45 machine, a really strong car for him in his Mustang. Then Adam McCabe, Bailey Turner looking at Seth Nolan, the number 1 machine. He's been performing very well so far to the start of this season, trying to see if he can continue that push forward with 2 wins to his name so far.
There he comes across the stripe, looking to complete a lap, and 4th quickest on the board. Jonathan Oates still the quickest with 1:30 remaining.
Yeah, great lap there. We've got also some returning names here this week. Kwame Scott, the number 36, in a great-looking Sunoco livery. This car looks like a party in July, doesn't it? Up onto the banking out of turn 2 and heading down the backstretch for his qualifying lap. Big entries again, Finian, nearly 50 deep, 4 rounds into the season.
Yeah, very, very solid-looking car. Awesome to see him out there on the track, back on the track for area. Here, we've seen him perform very well in some past races here. Can he perform well in qualifying, get that 36 car up to the top across the line for him?
Yeah, good to see Kwame Scott back. Scioli back as well, so if I do pick him, and he will be in the race.
Yep, up to 10th for Kwame Scott in the 36. Here comes Connor Horn. Got Olympics on his car here this week. And got the golf team, or team in Olympic golf?
Yes.
I suppose the American team till 12th place is the 42. Man, I don't know, man. Every year we just go, this guy's better than your guy, and then we fight about it on the internet for a couple months. So that's what's going on in current events.
Again, Bryce Senezek in the 09. He's coming around out of turn 4 across the line for him in the 09. It's been a rough start to the season for Bryce Senezek, hoping to get a decent start here at Charlotte. Will be 28th on the board. Yeah, I just saw someone jump near the top. Justin Bonnarant in the number 9. P2 for him at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit surprising to see the 9 qualify up front. I mean, real-life racing, that wouldn't be so surprising. But Bondurant, 2nd for the moment. Okresic looking to possibly dethrone. Nope. He won't.
Out of time.
Time's over. Time's over.
And about 7 or 8 cars didn't make a lap, including Jake Matheson, Matthew Bell. They tried, but actually all but 2 drivers tried, and some of them didn't get a lap in. So we're going to see who doesn't qualify, Finian, before we get loose and turn them for 140. Turn them loose, not get loose, and for 140 laps. My brain's cooked. I'm on now my 16th straight day working. I just got back from Road America this afternoon, and my brain's cooked, and my throat is also cooked. So
yeah, because I can kind of hear it.
Well, let me tell you something. If you guys were not aware of the Grid Life Summer Apex Festival at Road America, you got to go next year because it was the best festival we've ever put on. It blew out expectations out of the water. We had the track president up on the VIP stage, and he was having a blast. Peter Cunningham was up there having a blast. I've got some great photos and video of Peter Cunningham if anyone wants to see those in private eyes. And then it was an all-out vibe. Super, super fun event. Kind of a messy weekend on the racetrack, but Road America, Finian, eats cars.
Oh, yeah, it typically does. Temple, sorry, not Temple. I keep calling it the Temple of Speed. That's Monza, the National Park of Speed. throughout America. As we got a one more session here, as we sort out the order for qualifying. I want to point out before we get to gridding, so not only do we have Kwame Sky here, for those of you who don't know, a Coca-Cola iRacing esports driver, we also have a second Coca-Cola esports driver. That's Tyler Gary in the number 62 Toyota Camry tonight. He's also in the field here. And I'm not sure where he ended up in qualifying. I'm going to assume he had a fast enough time. He qualified 24th, so I think he should be making it onto the main show.
Yeah, they're still deciding that now. We had about, 50, 51 cars enter, only 43 spots.
Yeah, a lot of cars. But that's all part of it. I mean, this has been a pretty thrilling start to the season in the first 3 rounds. We've had Seth Knoll win 2 of the 3 races. Jake Matheson won the other. So some familiar names up on top there. But Philip Croner has done a very nice job. He's got 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s. And, so he's off to a very good start. And so is Douglas Newbegin and Drew Jua.
Yeah, actually, speaking of Drew Jua, it looks like as they're finalizing the order, it looks like he might be missing out, which is going to be pretty big. Doesn't look like he got a lap in. I was wondering where he was on the timing scoring. I think he joined in late. Don't think he was able to get a time in at all. So the number 13, as well as he's been performing, he's going to be missing out, it seems, here at Charlotte. Actually, no, correction. He did actually put a time in, but it seems like it didn't count it. I think he might have hit the wall in his attempt.
Well, that's a big blow to Drew Jua. He was 4th in the points as an open car. Philip Groner is 2nd as an open car as well, but that's huge whenever you're trying to bank on making a time in and you don't have a team. Like, you're affiliated with the team, but you don't have a guaranteed entry into the race.
So, got warm-up continuing here. This will be a race into the evening. Let's have a look at the weather as it stands. It's relatively cool out here, low humidity, 77 air, 82-degree track temp. And we'll see that probably continue to drop. But that means high grip, Finian. And this racetrack can be pretty fun when it's slick, but as it grips up, you're still going to have a little bit of lane choice, but it's going to be a bit narrower than if it were a day race.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit narrower, and again, for some of these drivers, especially the drivers who didn't really get a good qualifying effort to end, they're going to be spending a lot of time trying to work their way through the order, and with less passing lanes available, might be a little bit more of a chore. But not this man. The number 45, Jonathan Oates, will be starting on pole. A very strong performance for Oates. His only other previous start of the season was at Texas. Started 11th and finished 17th. So looking to see what the 45 can do. Might have been hiding quite a bit of the performance at Texas.
Yeah, looking at the race from last year, somehow we went caution-free. I don't know how we did it, but that lowered the average of yellows down to just 4 per race here. And we've raced here in every season so far for the Cup Series. And why is there no auto racing in the Olympics? Why is there no auto racing? That's a very good question.
It was being considered for the 2028 LA games, but they picked, I think, pickleball or something else.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. There's some
How
really
is
weird choice.
pickleball any different than tennis,
hang on.
but just for people that are slow?
I got to find the elected sports that they pick, because I was also surprised.
I know that for this year's Olympics, breakdancing is considered an Olympic sport.
I mean, I'll give you breakdancing.
Yeah, breakdancing I can live with.
Pickleball, though? Come on,
Man.
guys.
So if we can have breakdancing, we can have auto racing.
Right? That's my thought, too. All the pickleball people, I mean, if there is such a thing, are going to be upset at all the things I've just said. Maybe there's a pickleball
Oh,
army.
sorry. Correction. I take the words back. No offense to pickleball. They were not picked. It was cricket, flag football, baseball, softball, lacrosse, and squash.
Okay, all of those. Flag football, though?
Yeah, that was the weird one.
Yeah, all the other ones kind of make sense, but flag football. They don't have a normal American football, I presume.
No.
Yeah, but they have.
Because we're the ones that played.
Oh, whoop, the 87 took a big lick there on the backstretch, and the checkered flag is out for a warm-up, and that means we've got our field. Finney, do you have the DNQs?
I do. So, as it's finalized, so the big names to miss out are Drew Jua, Bryce Senezag, Jacob Bell, and joining that list as well, Ben Pierce, JT Poole, Robert Colgan, and Jake Emery. Philip Groner narrowly made it on through. He was one position ahead of Bryce Senezag and only a couple hundredths of a second quicker than him, so the number 11, a winner in the area league this season, almost missed out.
Wow.
Yeah, and on top of that, 4 cars getting EOLs to start this one. Matthew Bell just in Bondurant, so that's going to hurt his second place starting spot. Jeremy Miller and Connor Horn as well. And then Adam Cabot also with the drive-through at the start of this race.
So, couple of our onboards there, getting to show you things. Before we get into the starting lineup, let's take our picks. I'm still last, so I'm going to pick first. And I'm going to roll with, I might regret this, Adam Cabot in the 07. He's my pick to get things done.
You're choosing the guy with the pass-through?
He's locked in. It's locked in. Can't change your answer. Ding, ding, ding.
I don't care, guys. It's not going caution-free.
I think I am going to pick James Coe in the number 7.
Oh, well, that would have been rich if I would have picked him. Now I have to change my mojo up. You know what? I'm going to go with Philip Groner. Why not?
All right. Well, I'll be honest. I forgot that the Cabot had a drive-through, but
I figured it as well.
But I think, I picked Curran because he seemed kind of obvious earlier in the season, and he let me down. So maybe a not obvious pick will bring it on. So, all right,
I'm waiting for Michael Curran to win this race now because we didn't pick him.
Well,
prove us wrong, Michael.
Prove us wrong. All right, let's get rolling with the starting lineup here for this one. Front row, Jonathan Oates to the number 45 Ford Mustang, and Justin Bondurant, the number 9, qualifies up in second in his Chevy Camaro.
He'll be going back to the field. James Coe is going to be starting in row number 2 in third. Next to Adam Cabin, the 07. Drive through for him, starting in fourth.
Fifth place, Bailey Turner, the 25. Jake Nichols rolls off sixth with the 73.
Moving on back to 7th is going to be Seth Nolan, the number 1. Next to Ricky Springer in the 51, lineup in 8th.
Michael Curhan starts 9th in the number 24. Edward Scherer Jr. starts 10th in the 17.
Moving on back to 11 is going to be Matthew Morton in the number 18. Next to him, Kwame Scott starting 36 and 12th.
Nick Silver starts 13th in the 99, and Connor Horn to the rear and starts 14th.
Moving on back to 15th is going to be the number 35, but Brent Kunkari is solid starting for him. Next to him, Greg Mitchell in the number 2 in 16th.
Seth Berger rolls off 17th in the 77. Nathan Jump 18th in the 29.
Moving back to 19th, it's going to be Blaze McKinney in the 87. Next to Mason Kane in 31. Lineup 20th.
And 21st place, Ed Robertson in the 64. Jackson Anderson 22nd in the number 83 car.
23rd is going to be Reese Schaefer, in the 97. Next to him, Tyler Gary, one of the Coca-Cola Esports drivers, starting the 62 in 24th.
And a local driver at Hendry County Motorsports Park. We'll talk more about them later. Garrett Grant starts 25th. And the number 5, James Shanewolf, 26th in the 75.
Phil Grona, one of the last open drivers to make it his way on through, will be rolling off in the number 11 machine in 27. Next to him, Landon Cardullo in the number 19 car, rolling off in 28th.
29th place, Bryce Senesac in the 09. Travis Beckner rolls off 30th. A long way to drive forward in his 28 Camaro.
Back in 31st is going to be Jeremy Miller in the number 30 machine. He's got an EOL, so he's going to go into the back of the field. Next to him, Don DeLeo in the 22 machine, lineup at 32nd.
Max Service starts 33rd in the 81. Emerson Arden starts 34th in the 57.
And we get back to some more of the drivers that did not qualify. Jacob Bell sitting in 35th with Tyler Nichols in 36th.
And Ben Pierce, JT Poole. In the last couple of rows here, here's the rest of the runners as they stand 1 to green this time. Lights are out on the pace car. And the next time around, we're going to turn them loose. And that was just a run through your Central Mobile Homes starting grid. Of course, Central Mobile Homes, if you're looking for a small or large home, a new shed, or a Triple Crown trailer, look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 28 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers. Available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. Head to Central Mobile Homes, Inc. to get started today. And, of course, race fans, subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you can have all your Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat and earn double channel points to redeem your free merchandise for just $5 a month. My brain is absolutely fried. And we'll get
good news is
pace
we got another lap for your brain to reset.
Well, I wish I saw those pace lights a little earlier.
I'm trying to figure out the situation's going on, why they extended it. Assuming not everyone's
Adam Cabot. So Adam Cabot, I'm guessing he's dropping to the rear and he's going to do the drive-through when the green flag flies. That's probably why we're going an extra lap.
So he will drop to the rear here. And we'll go around one more time. And 140 laps take us about an hour and 9 minutes from flag to flag. And Hunter, last time we did this caution-free. Big field, though, this time. Do we do the same tonight?
Probably not. Might get an early yellow or two. If we do go green, I'm going to be interested in what the strategy is going to be, see if who try to split into 2. Some guys might try to split into 3. That is all depending if this goes green to the end. But 43 cars in the field, going to be pretty interesting seeing how they navigate here. We were 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide, 6 wide at Pocono a week ago. I think we could try 4 wide here, but that is pushing the envelope. 5 wide, we are jumbling up in the wall.
Well, they got wide enough pavement to go 5 wide, but maybe if you're doing maybe a pace lap or 2. Not sure that you could get everyone else to participate with that, but onto the back straightaway here for the 4th round of the Area Cup Series. Again, the upcoming rounds take us on a bit of a road trip. Dover in the Northeast next week. The week after is Sonoma, California. Then we go short track racing and then to the track Too Tough to Tame. And then we go road racing again. Round 9 is at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada. 35-lap race there. So very excited to see some rights and lefts. It always brings out a slightly different crowd and should be exciting to watch. We've been waiting a week since the results of the Tricky Triangle where Seth Knoll was able to pick up his 2nd win of the year. It's time now to bring on round number 4 of the Area Cup Series from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Field packed up, paired up, over 20 rows deep. Into the zone, green flag, and we're racing at Charlotte. Jake Nichols to the lead out of turn 4. He'll lead lap 1. Oates to the top. Scioli and Springer into the mix, Finian, as they complete the first lap.
Yeah, Jonathan Oates got flanked there between Nichols and Scioli. The Solar Flare Racing drivers immediately trying to find some sort of way around the 45, but they were able to get past him. At least Jake Nichols, Scioli trying to do the same move on the bottom. Not quite able to get clear to that Ford Mustang just yet.
Lots of side-by-side action throughout the field. Oates going to try to hang on to 2nd from Scioli, who's approaching on the bottom. Thunder is outside towards the back. It's Jr. trying to stay in the top 5, but here comes Kwame Scott trying to poke his nose through.
Kwame Scott from 12th to 7th in the opening laps. And he's on the high side here, making pretty good ground. We documented the weather situation. It has cooled off slightly and will continue to do so. Scott goes center 3 wide out of turn 2.
Feeling really confident in that 36 car. Kwame Scott is trying to make his way on through the middle, get past Springer on the bottom. Now still side by side with Eversher Jr. on the top side. They're trying to get on clear, but watch that 36. It might be a car to watch.
Into the field fly through, and Kwame Scott only had 9 starts last year for Miller Racing, average finish of around 19th. Did have a couple of top 5s, 3 top 10s, some laps led, but a late addition to this race, making it a little more entertaining as he's on the bumper of Bailey Turner. Oh, whoa!
Somebody went for a ride, and that was Landon Cardullo in the 19. He's still 3 wide on the bottom. Got shuffled out there. I think it was that pink car, whoever that was.
That's Gary. That is Tyler Gary, the other Coca-Cola esports driver there. And I want to say, I don't want to say beautiful. I don't think is the right word for it.
Whoa, look at this. Trying to
stick makeshift paint scheme.
Yeah, trying to break his way to the inside of Brett Bucari, who denies him that opportunity.
Yeah, he's got Arial font on the top for his number. So a lot of effort and on the side door.
And it's the wrong way, but
maybe that's how it's designed.
Ooh, look out, spin behind him. Trouble front straightaway, and a couple cars in the wall hard. The 41 and Tyler Nichols is one of them, and the first caution is out. The 3 is also involved.
It looks like Ed Robertson was the start of this out of turn 4.
Let's have a look. He's just going to get the apron, have a big wiggle, and then checks up everybody behind. And then right here, you see the 22 get pipped by Okrezik, and that sends the 41 into the wall. Yeah, they're just going to check up here. Okrezik was actually swerving to miss the 41. That was just a hard situation to get put into there for all those cars.
Everyone was zigging and zagging all over the place, and unfortunately, DeLeo and Tyler Nichols getting the worst end of that.
Jake Nichols is sitting by himself in turn 2, waiting for the pace car. I think it kind of got released in a weird spot. And now he's letting the field catch it back up to him.
He is not at the wrong track. He's at the right track this time. If you know, you know.
There's pace car.
That was interesting. Cars on pit lane. A handful of those involved in the accident. Ryan Hartz is down there. Dom DeLeo, Tyler Nichols, Douglas Newbeging is down there as well. And Newbeging has had a really strong start to the season. 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s. And his last 3 finishes, well, they're a 4th, 4th, 7th. So he's got a lot of momentum coming in, and maybe just topping off with fuel here. Hunter, does this open any strategy, you think?
This could open a 2-stop, although well, at least for these guys are coming out and topping off 2 more laps. Not 2 more laps. It's a few more laps of fuel that they have on their car. What was it 33rd on back? Some of them were involved in the wreck, but those that did splash and go. Fuel run, I'd say about 40, maybe 45 laps. We pushed the envelope quite a bit at Pocono last week, so those guys definitely gonna have to make 2 more stops. I think the rest of the field probably looking at a 2-stop race if this race keeps going the way it's going with the cautions.
We got our first look at our Henry County Motorsports Park replay. Of course, racing returns to the Henry County Motorsports Park on September 7th, including 360, Top Gun Wing sprints, Crusoe late models, factory stocks, and more. Tickets are $15 for adults with discounted prices for seniors, teens, and kids ages 5 and under are free. Come see racing at the southernmost dirt track in America, located in Clewiston, Florida, off US Highway 27. Visit henryracing.com for more info. Quick yellows, lights are out, and we're rebounding again. Everyone on the lead lap still with most of those cars repaired. Tyler Nichols kind of got the worst of it, and his car honestly doesn't look all that bad.
Yeah, it actually looks like, I guess, when he hit the wall, it was on the right side, or on the left side, actually. And I think he just hit it in such a way at such a low speed, didn't really ding anything, and if it did, there's still a little bit of scrapes you can see, but he's able to fix, I think, majority of the damage on pit road, so he's good to go. One driver that was really happy to see that caution come out was Adam Cabot, because he got put right back out just in front of the leaders, and before they had a chance of getting to him, he was able to come in pit, and, he was able to come back around and stay on the lead lap, so he's back in the mix. Got a long way to go, though.
Give me prop, boy.
I'll say that caution helped him out a bit because now he's back in the pack with everyone else, and he was one of the ones that came down pit road topped off on fuels. So interesting call here from your pick, Kyle. Maybe we can see him drive his way back to the top 5.
See how it goes. A lot riding on it. All right, pace cars off. Jake Nichols and Scioli will take us to the green flag. A couple of Solar Flare teammates up at the front of the field into the restart zone. Green flag, and we're back underway.
Really good start for Jake Nichols, very poor start for Scioli. It looked like he was almost caught sleeping, which is kind of weird because you'd think the teammates would somewhat work together to coordinate that, and that's caused a checkup on the outside lane. Look at Ricky Springer on there, 3 wide.
Couple cars in the wall, hardest Cabot, and there it goes. Dang it.
Oh my gosh, there's panel parts flying all over.
Oh my God, body parts.
Oh, the humanity.
And I was just about to say before we went back green that for Cabot, the only issue with him getting put back in the mix is that he had a risk of getting involved in a wreck and didn't even really take another lap for that to happen.
Yeah, Emerson Arden got into him there.
Yeah, so what trigger? Oh, so the 20 gets turned off to 30, and then he comes down, and then right there, just Eidson and Arden squeeze,
wow.
And then that's a huge impact for both those cars. Ugly wreck. And the 41, who was in the wreck earlier, gets re-involved in this one. That's frustrating for him. They slide down the racetrack and under yellow again here, guys. So that didn't go well for me. So I guess I'm only picking Solar Flare guys for the rest of the season.
See, now you're going to start picking them. They're going to start dropping like flies.
Well, I got to hedge my bets, so got to start somewhere.
The order has been restored is basically what's happened.
That's what I get for picking first. Not that you guys would have picked him, but
I tried to give a little warning beforehand as well.
I was kind of hoping you wouldn't say.
You guys are so mean. Gosh. By the way, there's more grid light stuff because we're sitting here. We reset the 3-year-long standing Grid Life track record on Saturday morning. Mike Dussault hit over 200 miles an hour on the front straightaway in his 1967 Camaro.
Oh, God.
And
that's terrifying.
I mean, there's not much left of the Camaro. It's just the body. But, I mean, he didn't crash. Like,
oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I figured that, but I'm just saying that hitting 200 miles an hour into turn 1 of Road America is a terrifying thought. That corner is not designed to be taken at 200 miles, entering at 200 miles an hour.
ran a 204.5, which is...
That's what happens when you have actual horsepower in NASCAR.
Yeah. And then he went down into turn 5, and the car immediately caught on fire.
Oh.
So, but then he got the car back out on the racetrack, and everything was fine. But, yeah, that was pretty cool. We had a first-time winner in GLTC in race 4, a name that might ring a bell, Scott Heckert, who has competed in NASCAR at a couple different levels, but most notably won a handful of NASCAR K&N Pro Series races at Watkins Glen in the mid-20-teens. So good to have him win a race there for us. We had drift on the full course for the first time since 2013 at Road America.
Oh.
And that was really cool.
That does sound really cool.
Yeah, the carousel is a really good corner for drifting if you have like 1,000 horsepower, but if you don't have 1,000, then it's pretty tricky. But it was really neat to watch. They also drifted the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex all weekend long. And it was just really good vibes. Dead Mouse played on Saturday night, and attendance outperformed our expectations by about 50%, so we were really stoked about that.
Wow, that's good.
It looked like the most full Grid Life we've ever had, but it was just partially the way that the venue was constructed, but it was almost as big as Midwest Festival.
I was about to ask, what was the relationship to Midwest?
Yeah, about 80% of Midwest Fest, which is really good.
I was going to say that's really good because that was the biggest festival by a mile, right?
And they have real bathrooms, which is my favorite part. And internet.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Compared to Gingerman.
Yeah, I mean, gosh. How about a comparison between those two, huh? They also sent us like a terabyte's worth of historic footage that we could use in the broadcast.
Oh, wow.
Including 25 minutes of the 1965 Road America 500. And so I had Creature go out and shot match some of those shots. And so we did a little video on the history of Road America with clips from that race, the 1997 kart races, some ALMS, some Grand Am, NASCAR. It was really cool. So I was really proud of that. And a great weekend on course. So, and a rush finish with a margin of victory of 27 thousandths of a second, 3 wide across the line. Good stuff. Let's go back racing here at Charlotte, though. Jake Nichols, Ed Scherer Jr., James Scioli, Seth Knoll, Jonathan Oates, your top 5. Here we go. Green flag back in the air again at Charlotte.
Another solid restart for Jake Nichols. Ed Scherer Jr. trying to keep him honest as much as he can on that outside lane number 17, but he's actually going to peel back in behind Nichols here on the start.
Side by side throughout the rest of the field as they're getting tight on corner exit towards the back, but it's still Nichols, Scherer with a mirror full of Scioli to the inside for second.
Ooh, big plunge there for the 7. He wants back by through 3 and 4, side by side there. Knoll goes up to the high side as Kwame Scott bounce off the fence. The Sunoco car driving up into the mix here inside the top 5 after starting a little deeper in the field.
Yeah, didn't have to really wait too long for him. Immediately charges off from 12th, is knocking on the door to the top 5. Question is, where can he really go? He's got the 1 and the 45 both battling ahead of him. As up further down the field, Jake Matheson decided to take a new manufacturer on board for this race. I think he might accidentally pick the Ford Mustang. So new colors, new car for him as he's working way from deep in the order. Started 37 and is up to 26 so far.
Solid improvement from the start of the race for him as you get a good look at the cars flying by into turn 1. It's very interesting how close they get. Some of them get to the wall. In the meantime, Nichols still leads. Scioli side by side with Scherer Jr. for second. But here comes Oates with a push to the outside.
Jonathan Oates in the 45 using an outside groove. And the 2 of Greg Mitchell's creeping up into the picture as well. He was a 16th place starter up to 8th place in the early moments. It's as high as he's run so far today.
Yeah, quite a few guys starting from outside the top 10 in the midfield. They've been slowly working their way up. Want to throw Nathan Jump into the mix as well. He started 18th and 9th, battling with Ricky Springer. So a lot of them, actually the deepest guys moving forward. The 2, the 29, and not too far back, the 24 Michael Curran in the mix as well.
There you see the USA cars battling in the mix. That's for a 6th spot on the outside, Turner on the inside. Behind them, you see the 51 of Ricky Springer in sim with him, actually in studio setup. Got Nathan Jump to the inside, fighting for 9th, and Curran just lurking in the background in 11th.
A good little battle here between Springer and Nathan Jump up onto the back straightaway, no longer in VR. I feel like he's got to be kind of far away from his monitor, though, so I wonder what his field of view is and if that's been an adjustment after coming from VR, Finian.
Yeah, it looks like his monitors are a little bit further away, but I guess it's one thing you got to get used to, especially from coming from VR, because he's running triples, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so, I mean, you trade one for the other, and I think it's just going to take an adjustment period. I know it took me quite a while to get used to VR. Getting off of VR, I'm sure that's quite a bit of an adjustment as well. Philip Groner, he's also been trying to work his way from the back to the front. Slow and steady progress, up 7 spots for the number 11 machine. Just a lot of traffic to deal with and no clear way forward.
Yeah, he's right behind the 83 of Jackson Anderson there. You saw Travis Beckner there just in front of Anderson, and now moves to the inside as the field flies by the front stretch once more. Interesting for Groner to the outside.
Oh, whoa, big push.
That got really tight.
Shane Wolf on the bottom of the 75 almost pushed up into him. And it causes a little bit of scattering behind him. See the area dot shop car, I believe that's Garrett Grant, drop into the bottom. And in the center behind is Jeremy Miller again.
Jeremy Miller's got Tyler Yerich's inside. They're both battling side by side for position and trying to see if they can both get a run on Garrett Grant. They're going to flank him. It looks like Miller's going to try to take the outside of the 5 in turn 1.
Oh, that is really tight. Hart's in the middle there. That's the 78 of Eitzen on the inside. To his outside is the 8 of Matthew Bell. It's hectic even for 30th, Kyle.
Yeah, they're fighting real hard back here, aren't they? 3 kind of caught up in that earlier collision, trying to work his way back forward as 25 of Bailey Turner creeps up in a mixture. Love all the red, white, and blue in this. Really great looking liveries on a handful of these cars. And that 36 in particular, Kwame Scott's paint scheme is absolutely lovely. Caution, trouble in the back.
David Weishart involved. Big damage to him on the inside wall. Oh, there's the 71 of Douglas Newbigin. And Ryan Swan deciding to get some increased downforce with the hood up in the air.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy there from the 20 of Swan. We'll see if he comes down pit road and tries to make an adjustment with that.
Let's have a look at the Henry County Motorsports Park replay. Try to sort how this all went down.
Start with Garrett Grant, it seemed. It started off of turn 4 right there ahead. There he is. So he got loose off of turn 4. He made contact with Tyler Gary on the 62 machine. And this is what got interesting. So he went down for a ride, went down on the AstroTurf, and then right there, that jump back on onto the racetrack got him loose. Tried to save it, got rear-ended. From the 33, he hit the 19, and then Ryan Swan got collected there as well.
I wonder if we can take another look at that, because as soon as he went through that, it seemed like something must have broke from underneath, because this car just shoots straight back up.
Oh, you know what? I think you might be right. Let's have another slower look at this. When he comes back onto the racetrack, did something break right here? It might have. I see some net code there as well, but oh, that 33 took a big hit. So did the 20. There's where the 71 gets tagged right up ahead with the 19. Oh gosh, sorry for the flashing there. Wrong button, but let's head back live. Pit stops are underway, and a little bit of a split decision here. A couple drivers stay out, a handful of them do, and the rest of the field comes to pit lane.
Yeah, I'm not too terribly surprised from this because the pit window for these guys is looking to be anywhere from around 62, 60, I'd say around 64 laps to 68 laps is kind of the window. So pitting at this point, you can easily make this a one stop from here to the end. Should it go green? You have to see, we had quite a few cautions early on, but if it does mellow out, we could get a run to the end. These guys are looking pretty good as far as fuel mileage.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing here, 12th, like inside the top 12, they have stayed out. Looking through, the top 8 have yet to pit entirely. Bell, Hartz, Horn, Eitzen, they've all made pit stops at some point, and then everyone else behind them is on fresh tires.
Yeah, it seems like this is one of those races that you might get a couple of yellows early, but just judging by the body language of the cars, I think once you get them spread out enough, you very well could go green to the end from here. So I don't know that I love not pitting here. because, you know, there's any opportunity now for this race to just go green all the way to the end. We've seen that happen here before when the track's gripped up like this. So I feel like pitting was the right call. But on the other hand, if you get a few more yellows, then you just saved yourself a set of tires, Finian.
Yeah, it's definitely the safer option, I think, is to pit. The riskier option is to stay out and kind of hope that another, you know, strategically everything lines up. Last thing these drivers are going to want is for it to go green all the way to the end. They got older tires they got to work with. Potentially got to save a little bit, save some fuel as well to make it on one more stop to be competitive with the rest of the strategy. So that's the thing they're kind of banking on. But if things do play out, like you mentioned, they have that extra set of tires they could use near the end of the race.
Could always come in handy, especially whenever it's what was it, a 10-lap dash? Because if it's a green-white checker, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to make enough time. But if there's like a 15 or 10-lap dash, I'd say as far as maybe a 5-lap dash, if it goes green to the end, might be in a good spot there. Just like Kyle's kind of in a good spot there.
Yeah, I haven't seen poor Apollo, man. I was at VIR for about 6 days last weekend. Came home for a couple hours on Monday night, and then Tuesday I had to leave for work very early and got back into 2 streams and then went right to Road America. So this poor cat has just been through the ringer as of late, and he is ready to have Dad home, I think. So he's going to go find his own place to hang out. We're going to go back to watching the rest of the racing here tonight from Charlotte, and it's Kwame Scott now who has inherited the lead over Nathan Jump, Michael Curhan, Seth Berger, and Beckner. Everyone down to Max Service has not pit, and Matthew Bell is the first that has. And then from there on back, it's a mix of 2 and 4 tire stops.
Interesting thing to note is that I recognize a lot of the names of the drivers that stayed out in practice. A lot of them are running fairly well up near the top, particularly Max Service. He was second on the timesheets in practice, if I'm not mistaken. There, yeah. He's second on the board in practice. Jake Matheson, we know, always a quicker driver near the top as well. So quick guys staying out, deciding the track position is worth it. I don't think tires should be too big of an issue if history is to serve us right with the way the next-gen cars go with tire wear. So we'll have to see how it's going to play out. I doubt we're going to see people drop to the back, but at Pocono we were kind of surprised by the tire wear.
Yeah, you don't typically see a lot of these cars, Hunter. So, I mean, it's, again, night race at Charlotte. You tend to see tires kind of wear like iron, but we'll see if these are really worth anything. Off into turn 3, field doubled up.
Interesting thing, I was actually just listening to Kwame Scott, a couple other guys in the front. I can hear them clutching in and trying to save some gas. I think they're a little bit nervous with the fuel situation at the moment.
Got 25 laps on their tank, so I don't know that can't go that much longer, another 15, 20 laps before they'll have to consider coming to pit road. They have made their bed. We'll see if they have to lay in it now out of turn 4. Whoops, Seth Berger goes for a blink. Try this again, lap 26 of 140 into the restart zone, and Kwame Scott's going to lead us back to green. Big push, and Travis Beckner gets shuffled out of line there on the restart.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. If he just missed a shift or something happened to him. The 28 got shuffled back in line. Looks like he's found his place. Oh, he had wheel spin on the restart, which is something you really don't see in the next-gen cars as much anymore. But on the older tires, I think just did not have enough grip or as much as he thought he had to get up to speed.
We go through 3 and 4. Still some interesting battles throughout the field. More towards the front. Right behind Seth Berger, you got Jackson Anderson, Jake Matheson. Haven't talked about him yet. He's trying to battle inside the top 5. He's got Max Service there as well. Ryan Hart's in the 3 up here after being involved in the first wreck.
Look at Matheson take that high lane. And he's going to use that to get some momentum. A little 3 and 83 contact there, and the 3 bounced off the wall. Max Service, the last one on old tires. Ryan Hart's is the first one on new tires. He's got 4 fresh ones. Turn 4.
He came in early on in the race.
Right. Yep. Fresher by 7 laps.
The first one with fresh tires is Jonathan Oates, in the number 45 machine. Looks like he's about to take the number 8 of Matthew Bell and the 42 Connor Horn 3 wide off of turn 2. Oh, and there he goes off the bottom. Big block from the 8 as he tries to keep him at bay.
Man, there's no holding back the 45 whenever you got the freshest tires in the field to the inside there. trying to get past the 8 of Bell, trying to clear him for 10th at least. Not going to be able to do so there. Connor Horn in front of him, going to draft off him and get a shove from Bailey Turner heading into 1.
Lots of drivers trying to find room to race here. Connor Horn, remember, he was supposed to start 14th, got EOL'd, but this strategy has put him up into 8th place. And I like the calls that he's made so far, Finney, and just to get track position, that seems to be important enough that it's worth sacrificing maybe some long-term pace.
Yeah, I think especially just getting yourself out of the midfield where you're seeing a lot of these wrecks occur. We saw Adam Cabin, unfortunately. He had a very quick car, qualified 4th, was sent to the back with a drive-through due to penalties preceding this race. So he got put back in the mix of things and immediately got taken out. So I think it is kind of worth it in a way for that track position. Of course, you do need to have a bit of the speed to carry yourself at the front with some slightly older tires.
Ooh, there's was that Bailey Turner that was blocking to the inside there, heading through. Not sure who he was blocking. He was blocking Ed Shearer Jr. He had an aggressive move to the bottom. Jonathan Oates to his outside now as Oates trying to re-enter the top 10. Max Service holds that 10th spot.
Oh, a little stack up on corner entry. Ahead of Max Service. This is creating a little cork in the bottle here out of turn 2. They were 3 wide almost with the 17 looking for the middle. And Scioli watching all this out the windshield for him.
Yeah, just watching it all unfold, just trying to figure out where he wants to go in line. Looks like he's going to pick the bottom, stick with it. Jonathan Oates can see right up there, up on the top, trying to maximize these runs off the corner and just use that momentum off the corner to gain some speed and advantage over the other drivers he's fighting with, currently fighting with the 17. And they're duking out for 12th at the moment.
Yeah, I believe Trey Eitzen to the outside of the 7, keeping close quarters racing as Kwame Scott continues to lead. Jump goes to the inside behind him. Curran on the outside. Berger on the inside for 3rd, with Jake Matheson lurking in the background.
I'm looking at the tire wear, though, guys. I don't think it's that important because we've still got 5 drivers ahead of the field that don't have fresh tires on. So there might be something to this strategy later in the race just to get ahead. We know how much caution that
for the
creates.
leads. Contact for the lead. Nathan jumped Kwame Scott off of turns 1 and 2, and now Seth Berger is going to take advantage of the situation, trying to move to the inside. Big train on the outside. You saw Michael Curran give a shove to 36.
And Matheson giving a move there into 52, although he is listed as the 54. Ryan Hart's also in the 3, trying to give him a strong push on the outside. That's what Curran sees out the back of his car as Matheson continues to lurk up for that lead.
And this is... Well, there's a lot going on out of turn 2 right now with Nathan Jump really in a bad spot. Nowhere for him to go. You have to be so perfect back there. Tyler Gary's on the inside of a 3 wide as well. That's going to get tight quarters back here.
Backwards everywhere. Everyone's in almost in pack formation like we're at Daytona coming off of turn 4.
What was the race that they tried the high downforce package? What year was that? When
2018.
It looks like that.
2018 and 2019 they have that. Oh, gosh, this is really chaotic.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've seen that these night race Charlotte races with the next gen kind of create this pack racing environment. But once you get strung out, the racing looks completely different. So if you get past the 20-25 lap mark in a run and God forbid get to pit stops, the whole race changes. So you have to be aggressive now and get as much track position as you can. Otherwise, you're going to be playing strategy for the rest of the night.
Speaking of aggressive, Seth Noel just throwing into the inside middle, split Seth Berger and Bailey Turner. Got 1, 2, and now going for position number 3 in basically 2 corners here as he tries to get past 29 Nathan Jump. And for Jump, it was looking pretty well until he made that contact with Kwame Scott for the lead, was trying to take the lead away from him, and now he's got put back all the way to 8th.
Yeah, he tried to jump up to the lead and he instead jumped down. 3 wide in front of him. Not sure where he's going to jump this time. He's going to just stay in the middle where Seth Noel is just shooting towards the 4th position, trying to take that away from Hartz.
That was a great launch. He got center corner and took that all the way to 4th.
Kyle?
What?
What was that about fresh tires?
Well, I still think, I mean, look, how many laps have we had since the restart? Almost 15. I still think late in the race that you could stay out on a no-tire call and do just fine, provided that you're not the only car doing it. If you have a 3 or 4 car differential, I think you're in good shape, right? I think at some point the new fresh tires are absolutely going to be better, but if they're not better until 20 laps in a run, I'm making that call, no tires late in the race.
Yeah, I think at some point definitely is worth considering with how many cars you have in the field still running. As I think someone got, if it's not close to the wall, is into the wall. Yeah, you see the 3 of Ryan Hart's dropping back a little bit into turn 3, trying to keep that 3 car going up there. It's been a rough start of the season for the 3 of Ryan Hart, so he's trying to see if he can change his fate in this race. So far, so good, as he's running inside the top 10.
There, see the other gold-colored car back there of... Wow, my mind just went blank there. Philip Groner, that's my pick to win the race. He's jumped inside the top 10 now, starting to make his way towards the front.
Slowly but surely, the pack is somewhat thinning out, getting a little bit more stretches of single-car drivers, mostly near the front. I see James Scully, he's making a move on Matthew Bell. He'll rockets past start-finish line.
Up the racetrack, there is Travis Beckner on a recovery after that sloppy restart, slippery restart. Just got spun the tires and dropped a handful of spots, but now he's making progress back forward in the Hendry County car. Little contact there maybe from the 87 of Blaze McKinney, and the 29 is all crossed up. 29, 62. Gosh dang that number. Oh, that's all. Whoa. It doesn't say 29 from any angle, but it's just. Look at this. Oh, that's tight squeeze for Scaiola, or Nichols rather. Look at that.
3 by 3 wide. Entering turns 1 and 2. Jake Nichols trying to rock around the outside and get clear of that mess. And there you can see Tyler Gary as well, doing much of the same, trying to get clear of the mess as well. And they sort themselves out by turn 3. Oh, if I say that, Jared Jr. trying to make a move to the inside. Back 3 wide again.
Yeah, Nathan Jump had him over there off turn 4 that last lap through. Starting to have some issues handling that race car, dropping down on the leaderboard. Meanwhile, still moving up. The 25 of Bailey Turner now looks to the inside of Nathan Jump, still moving up. Philip Groner in the 11. He's jumped up to 6th on the leaderboard behind teammate Scioli. And even behind them, there's a move to the inside. Blaze McKinney, haven't talked about him too much, moving past Matthew Bell for 8th.
Moving up in the world. And for the lead, speaking of moving up in the world, here comes Seth Knoll to the inside. Contact with Kwame Scott. And they're side by side for the lead into turn 1. Solar Flare versus Sunoco.
I think Kwame Scott's going to say, guys, it's the first race I'm back. I'm just going to keep getting hit by other drivers. He got hit by the 29, now hit by the 1, but Seth Knoll will do it, and Execute will be up in the lead and past the 36 car. So new leader Seth Knoll, we'll see how far can he drive away from everyone else. If he's got that pace, it's like a Blaze McKinney trying to make a move almost 3 wide here coming off of turn 4.
That was really tight on the corner exit. Oh my gosh, that was Gary in the 62 and Horn in the 42. He's trying to slice and dice his way through, trying to follow the tire tracks of Jake Nichols. Behind him, though, outside the top 10, still a good mix of battles here. Jonathan Oates still trying to work his way back towards the front. He hasn't had the ground to make up since this restart. But up front, battle for second. Skyall underneath Kwame.
Here we go again. V2 Solar Flare versus Sunoco out of turn 4. Kwame Scott on the outside, and here comes Philip Groner as well. The Solar Flare guys really starting to rise to the top here, Finn.
I was going to say, Kwame probably doesn't want to look in his rear mirror because you have another Solar Flare guy coming. And if he looks even further back, there's another Solar Flare guy coming at him as Jake Nichols soars around the outside of 54 of Jake Matheson. So now there's 4 Solar Flare drivers in the top 5.
Knew I should have picked one of those guys.
You have the choice of 43 cars, and you pick the driver that is sitting in 43rd.
I mean, come on. I mean, what a brutal... I mean, this happened to me at Daytona, too, didn't it?
Yes, I think something very similar.
Per hand, dead last.
Just speak like you didn't make the same mistake I did. I mean, these Solar Flare guys are so fast. I picked a guy, he wasn't even in the race. I just knew that he was going to be up there, but that was if he raced. He didn't race, and lo and behold, Scioli up to 2nd. Kwame Scott trying to hold 3rd from Philip Groner. He's going to look to the outside.
Scioli for the lead, trying to rock around the outside as Seth Knoll gets a great run out of turn 4 and across the start-finish line. He will just get ahead to lead a lap. That was definitely a plan. That looked coordinated between those guys.
We'll take full advantage of it, though. Here comes Groner to the inside of Kwame Scott, and then that'll open the door for Jake Nichols as well. Blaze McKinney is back there. Oh, big crash, turn 3. And a handful of cars in it. Seth Berger, Justin Bondurant, who started on the front row. and the 19 of Lemon Cardullo.
And for Bonneran, who's having a good run after being relegated to the back with an EOL, was marching his way through the field. Got caught up in a mess here. This is in turn 3, I believe.
Yeah, so I think Bondurant is up the road here. He's involved. Oh, he gets into the 29, sends him around, and then they just all pile in there. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so it starts right here as these two. Let's go back a little bit further and see how this starts. Watch the 29. Does he come down or does the 9 go up? Or the 29 coming down? Either way, they head up the racetrack and Bailey Turner just misses that, but nothing Berger could have done. And then these guys too, just too much momentum to the outside. Yeah, that's no good. And yeah, it was ruled on the 29 car for coming down the racetrack. So that's a look from high above.
Yeah, fortunate Nathan Jumbo was just running really well, fighting for the lead, and now in the cause of this collision.
Just the slightest movement, but
yeah,
that's all it takes.
Seth Berger, and then the 19 Cardullo, and the 77 of Schaefer as well.
Pit stops. Busy place down there. But 2 drivers stayed out, Nick Silver and Brett Puncari. Everyone else came down, and they all took 4 tires. Wow.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised by that. At least for the drivers that came in pit the first time around, the previous caution. Would have thought we would have seen them stay out, get that track position, but they felt it was worth it to come down for another trip.
Yeah, that's a interesting one to point out there. I don't know. That's got my head in a blunder, Kyle. I know yours is in one as well, but this call alone just puts my brain in a blunder.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you would do this, but again, we'll see. I mean, it's been, speaking of blunders, been churning cars up and down the order all night long, and it looks like that Puncari that pulled left.
Yeah, there was actually some contact down on pit lane entering, I think because of an EOL situation. So I think Mason Kane and Ed Robertson made no tail contact entering the pits because everyone was coming to a stop trying to figure out who was ahead of who, because no one wanted an EOL, of course, for passing I think it's actually a solid black for passing under the EOL. So no one wanted that. So Brent Puncari came back down in. Nick Silver legitimately is going to be staying out for the lead. Everyone else came down pit lane. Jake Matheson looks like he took 2 tires, everyone else 4.
This is like worst case scenario, green, white, checkered, right? You want track position and you want to stay out on 30-lap old tires. We're about to see what happens here. I don't think there's a driver in the field that isn't interested in how this goes.
I think, honestly, for a green, white, checkered, I think this might be fine. Because by the time you get up to speed, you really aren't going to have a whole lot. You're basically, the entire first lap is just spent getting up to speed. The second lap, you might be able to execute, but if they throw a decent block, I don't think, and it kills the momentum, might not be much. So I think this is not a horrible strategy to pull off later in the run, like you mentioned. And of course, I imagine a couple others would also agree and probably risk staying out to get that track position. And you also have to consider, too, with a massive field of cars, 43 cars, you pit, you're dropping way down the order. That's a lot of track position you have to make up.
We're not even halfway through. This has already been one interesting race. Definitely caution-wise compared to last year. Like I mentioned, last year, caution-free for Season 5. Season 6, we're already on our 4th yellow of the night, and like you mentioned, we haven't passed halfway. So, a lot of things still left to write off here, Kyle, as we're inching closer towards halfway.
Hopefully not more cars. You want to write off more of those things.
Yeah, quite a few of them sitting on pit lane getting repairs. We're down to about 35, 36 drivers still running.
Some big ones so far. Garrett Grant's out. Okrezik is out. Weishart, Cabot also out. 5 total. Well, make that 4. Emerson Arden is rejoining the racetrack. He is 22 laps down.
Doesn't hurt to try. I think he feels there's going to be more carnage left in the night. The night is still young in his eyes.
It still is as well. Again, I don't think, I'm going to end up jinxing myself, but it's This racetrack, I don't think, has a pattern of having yellows the entire race. It's either front-loaded or back-loaded. And so, again, at any moment, you get, once you drop below that critical number where the yellows will just keep coming and you start eating cars, at some point, this race is going to run. And you got to be prepped for it. I don't think Nick Silver is in that position, but we will see how it pans out here. Working lap 51 of 140. Dark over there in turn 3, actually. It's interesting. Pace car is going to pull off the racetrack. We'll head for the restart zone once again. Nick Silver, Jake Matheson on your front row. Toyota and Ford tonight for Matheson, and we're back underway. Green flag back at Charlotte.
A lot of solo Ferrari drivers up there trying to make some moves. Immediately a move from Seth Knoll almost takes out Jake Matheson. Stuck him behind Nick Silver, struggling to get up to speed. Looks like those tires aren't doing him any good.
No, they're not.
Well, they're doing good for Matheson as he's been pushed to the lead from Kwame Scott. Still tight 3 wide with Silver on the bottom. Knoll and Scott making contact through turn 4.
Oh, behind him. Cars wiggling and wobbling all over the place. That was.
Oh, I don't like this.
That was very sketchy. In front of the straightaway. The 7's going to get turned around. This is going to be a big mess in turn 1. The 3 cars in it, the 81's in it, and a whole bunch of others.
That took the entire straightaway to sort out.
Well, it sorted out into a massive wreck in the turn 1.
Damn Scioli's junk. Let's have a look at that. It started right here. Oh, that was a teammate, I think. Was that getting turned down on by the 11?
Well, if you really want to get to the kind of start of it, start off in turn 4.
Sorry, Travis Beckner had a hard hit to the outside wall. Just trying to avoid that.
There's the 1, gets into the 36. They start slowing themselves off the corner. And then right there, some contact on the exit. Nick Silver through the grass. It checks everyone up. Then right there, you can see Groner trying to sort himself out. Got into his teammate. And around the 7 of Scully went hard impact for Ryan Hartz and a couple others in the wall.
Yeah, Beckner took a big hit as well. You pointed it out, Finney, and watch this. He gets turned off the nose of the 42, and huge hit there.
Yeah, he's got Jackson Anderson to the inside. They're on the apron trying to come up. He thinks he's clear. Unfortunately, it was not. Max Service got another piece of that.
Watch the 3 car here as well. He's going to get launched. It's hitting the driver's side door there as well. Big wreck taking out some big players. The 64 of Ed Robertson also getting a piece of it. That took out another nearly dozen cars involved in that one, with a whole bunch more on pit lane. Clears out a couple of the front runners. Matheson, Scott, Knoll, McKinney, Groner, the survivors of the top 5.
Yeah, if you are starting near the middle to the back of the field, this is starting to look pretty good for you to get a decent points haul tonight. So I think a lot of guys are going to perk up, and yeah, they got a good chance at some points to get themselves further up the standings. And Nick Silver, unsurprisingly, came down to pit lane to get some tires, so he's going to be put near the back of the order in 25th as they run. There's my pick down in pit lane.
I imagine Scioli's night, if it's not done, I'd be shocked. That car took some really big hits. Max Service will probably be able to get back out there. Hart's likely done.
I think everyone really should try to get back out there if they can, if the car is able to get fixed. And I think, with this new damage, mostly able to fix up the entire car, if not the entire car. So might as well try to get back out there and get some sort of points, whatever you can salvage, because you never know. It can go a long way.
Well,
I like the race control message. Lap 53, big incident.
Yes.
That's the best
Those
way to
are
describe
factual
that.
words. Man. Well, while we've got a moment, Hunter, I'll let you get your point in 1 second. We've got bills to pay. Elite Entertainment, add some life to this party this summer with Elite Entertainment. Located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, Elite Entertainment provides high-quality band production to entertain at any location. Visit Linktree/Elite Entertainment LLC for all contact info, Hunter. Lose your train of thought?
For a moment, I was just going to say for those Hendrick County Motorsport Parks fans, unfortunately seeing Travis Beckner getting caught up in that wreck, Tyler Gary, actual racer at that racetrack, still in this race, running inside the top 10, making his area debut in the Cup Series. Him and Kwame Scott making their season 6 debut. They're both running inside the top 10, and that paint scheme for the OGs out there that watched area from season 1, somewhat similar to Cameron Hearn's paint scheme when he ran the Area 500, the first ever race for area. That's the kind of look and feel I'm getting from it, but regardless, it's fast and it's working.
I didn't know you could paint over the grill graphics.
I guess the bottom grill ones are not mandatory. I guess the headlight ones are. So I guess you could get away with that.
Yeah, I've just never seen it. It actually looks kind of good. Not really. The new Camry body, not a huge fan of. I don't mind the rear, but I've seen them in person now, and I think that was a step backwards with the styling of that car. But
it feels like it's like missing something. Like it feels like the cars in the front's not fully rendered, if you know what I mean, right? Like the LODs are a little bit turned too down. Like it needs a little bit more definition on the front. I know that's how I feel about it.
I just feel like it looks taller. Like they made the headlights squintier, and so it makes on the real car and on the race car, it just makes the whole front end look beefier, which I don't think is good for a sedan. I think it makes it look like an SUV actually. But what do I know? It's all right. I'll still buy the GR86. At Toyota, please help.
I was gonna say if I could afford one, I would.
I was chatting with Mike from TRD at VIR, and he goes, if you want one, we could probably help you out. And I was like,
oh,
well, yeah, but that just means getting one that I want at sticker, which still means the $650 a month car payment. So, much as I do.
Did I get the down payment?
I could do a down payment. Still have getting the one that I want is the challenge, right? So you can't just order whatever you want from Toyota. It's weird how they do that. So, anyway. Unless the dealership has the one that you want, then in that case you're good. But here we go, lap 58. Let's restart. Jake Matheson's in command on the inside in that Ford Mustang. We're back underway.
Off and away for him, Kwame Scott duking battle out with Seth Knoll. They're not probably on the happiest of terms after the last restart, both disagreeing of track space between both of them, and they're still not giving up on each other. They're close to rubbing doors. Blaze McKinney, a great run off of turn 2 for him. He's going to blow past the one.
Yeah, no 3-wide move this time heading into turn 3. Knoll going to drop back to 4th, trying to hold on the 3rd from McKinney on the outside. Jake Nichols just watching this unfold in front of him. Behind him, a lot of side-by-side action.
On board now with
Jonathan Oates into the 83 of Anderson. Around they go. The big crash on the front straightaway.
Horrible crash.
Oh, man. Ice just went flying the inside wall. I think he needs an ambulance.
Who was the car that speared into the outside at Mach 3?
That's a great question.
I thought it was the 80.
No, a lot of them went flying to the wall.
Gosh, there were some big hits here. Let's go back and see how this starts. Finian, you saw it happen.
So Jonathan notes he tried to get purchase on the inside of the 83, and then they both just agreed on who had that part of the straightaway. And around they both went in front of Bailey Turner. Whew.
And you
I think it's a 78 of Trey Eidson.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, he took a decent went off the roof of Mason Kane.
That was ugly. Yeah, so he just gets hooked down here. Part of all this, so there's the crash ahead of him. He checks up. Mason Kane follows him through the grass here. But then as the wreck kind of makes its way down the hill with the 99, he's going to get hooked and then just right into the end of that concrete wall, up and over and airborne. It's got drop kicked. That was ugly.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys are going to need to go to a dealership to get new cars. A lot of them got destroyed in this wreck here.
Oh, the 30.
Oh.
Right on board with Jeremy Miller. This will be a wild ride.
almost missed out on it.
Just nothing he could do. He's just along for the ride as a passenger.
Oh, that 30 or the 78's hit is just hellacious. I don't think you'd hit that wall harder if you tried. Or look at it here from a different angle. He was almost through it too.
Oof.
Mason Kane's probably got a wild view of that.
Did Matthew Moore make it through there? Nope. I got hit right there at the end.
Nope. Hendry County Motorsports Park replay.
Oh. Like a jump scare.
Pace car drove through all of them at the end there too.
Pace car does not care.
Well, that's another big one. I mean, we have just jumped half the field.
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah. There's only 24 cars left in the lead lap. There's a lot of destroyed cars.
I just don't. I mean, Charlotte can either go one of two ways, and tonight it has gone the other way.
And we still have to head to Darlington. Everyone's getting their Charlotte stripe in apparently tonight.
This is what we consider pregame for Darlington.
Kind of scared then. This is the pregame.
And when that 78 hit that wall, it was like it was loaded with C4. It just was there, and then bam. Man, I'm looking forward to some road racing. I don't know about you guys.
Well,
you guys screw up, you just end up in a gravel trap. So, you know.
I was just saying, in a few weeks, we actually Darlington's a few ways down, but we get to a road race before we get to Darlington. Next week's Dover, and then the week after that is Sonoma. So we'll be having some left and rights in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, Sonoma is a pretty tame track from a race perspective. I think Montreal has a tendency to be a little crazier.
I think Montreal is going to be crazier just because it's a big unknown. I can guarantee you the majority of these drivers in the field have never driven this car around Montreal.
I don't think I've driven this car around Montreal. That's saying something.
I think I might have done a lap or two just for funsies. Actually, I don't think I have driven the next gen. Actually,
Honestly,
I think I've driven the Xfinity car.
The next gen drives so well on road courses that it's like not my go-to drive on road course car. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I'm
that makes
like,
sense.
I want to drive a stock car.
prefer-
I go for the Xfinity car or the old Cup car.
Yeah, I was going to say, I prefer the Xfinity car on road courses for me. I don't know what it is. It just feels more natural, I guess, for a stock car. This feels a little weird. Like, it's trying too hard to drive on road courses.
I'll tell you, NASCAR, what they need to do is stop trying to build a good car. And here's why. I have a reasoning for this. The Gen 6 was a car designed for ovals. What was it bad at? Oval racing. What was it really good at? Road racing. Then now we built a road course car. What is it really good at? Oval racing. What's it really
bad at? So they just build a car that's bad at everything.
Yes. Which is what all the NASCAR cars were before the COT, basically.
Yeah, but now the only ones that we have left are in ARCA.
Right. But I mean, the talent pool is thinner than my granddad's hair, so...
Yeah, I was going to say, you got 16-year-olds in ARCA driving around there.
Well, I was just going to say real quick before this restart, that spin that Corey Day had, he almost hit an opening at the inside wall of Salem. I felt like if it were to happen, because he overcorrected at the right time, if it were to happen, it would have happened similar to what Trey Eidson did.
Oof. Well,
23 cars left on the lead lap. Here we go.
Here we go. Jake Matheson is in command of this restart. Restart, and we're green, and a little pushing and shoving there from row 2 in both lanes.
McKinney, solid start on the bottom, trying to see if he can get through and past the 36 of Scott, but Kwame Scott going to get a really good run on the back straightaway, as well as the slipstream from the 52.
Ron trying to get in line and get some laps logged in. We're still not even halfway through, but we're still side by side, almost 3 wide to the back for the top 10.
One car that's sliding up into this mix that has had a really good season so far as Douglas Newbigging. Look at his lowest. I didn't even know you could do that. Lowest 47th in this race. There he is, up to 16th and climbing. And in the wall. Sorry, Finian.
He's done really solid. He's currently third in the point standings. He's got 2 top 5s, and every single finish he's had this season has been in the top 10. The only other driver to be that consistent is Phil Croner, with also 3 top 10s to his name. So Newbigging trying to keep the consistency up and going forward as a little bit more ways to work near the front. As it's still hard battling here near the front. Blaze McKinney, Jake Nichols duking it out for 3rd place. And Tyler Gary as well, just gotten past Seth Knoll for 5th.
And McKinney trying to get through the Solar Flare guys one by one. He'll have enough to clear them that time, but he's got all of them lined up behind him, with the exception of Tyler Nichols.
Connor Horn working his way up the field here. Started from the tail tonight. He's dodged and weaved through all the accidents and is now almost to the top 5. He's got one more car to pass, and it's this one.
Seth Knowles outside, and Tyler Gary's got to deal with directly ahead of him. And for Connor, I think he's going to be happy if he doesn't get involved in another incident tonight. He'll finally stop getting EOL. He's got an EOL at Texas, EOL at Pocono, and an EOL tonight. So it's finally potentially an end in sight if things end well here. As we're just coming up now, guys, on halfway.
And being led by Jake Matheson, Kwame Scott, Blaze McKinney still holds 3rd with the Solar Flare guys running in 4th. Tyler Gary running in the top 5, starting to make his way towards the front. Behind him, though, Connor Horn also moving up, passing Seth Knoll, and Ed Shearer Jr. trying to get a look to the inside as well. Before the lead, Kyle Kwame Scott.
Big lunge into turn 3, and Scott's going to take the lead away. Let's call him Squammy there for a second. Squammy takes the top spot. And across
Solid
the
move
stripe
for him. Thought he wasn't going to be able to clear Matheson off turn 4, but as you go almost 3 wide here, entering turn 1. Jake Nichols trying to figure out where he wants to go as Blaze McKinney gets around him for 3rd.
Onboard Matthew Bell trying to get a run to the inside of Knoll. He won't. He'll just run in tow behind him, heading into turn 3. Single file for the majority of the goers inside the top 10. Philip Groner holds that last spot in 10th, trying to navigate his way on forward.
The inside quarter panel here, see if he can side draft a touch into turn 1. Now we've got the field reduced now to, as Finney pointed out, 23 runners on the lead lap. So that's going to change the dynamics a bit. And we're going to come to halfway this time. And I think the second half of this race looks very green with how this is shaping up.
Yeah, I mean, knocking out a lot of the competition out. Potentially, I imagine these guys are going to try to keep it clean as much as they can, especially some guys that were running further on back that can get a good points haul out of tonight. If things end well for them, things end cleanly for them, I should say. As the majority of the leaders are pretty much running single file, and everyone's starting to settle in here for a longer run. Everyone is still going to have to make one more pit stop before this race is over.
At the bare minimum, 1 stop. Some might try to split this in half and do 2, but with the tire wear, I'm not sure if that's going to be that big of a concern for some of these guys, as it seems like everything's been calmed down for the moment, Kyle.
Yeah, things have really simmered down quite a bit. There is a little battling deeper in the field. Nick Silver and Douglas Newbigging side by side here. And just up the road, Reese Schaefer in that 97 car has rebounded nicely. He was involved in a wreck earlier tonight. Little push there from Newbigging into turn 3, and now he's alongside Shane Wolf in the 75.
And Shane, we're going to be able to carry more momentum off the corner and easily get around the 97. Newbigging up next, trying to see if he can get past, but Ed Robertson's fighting side by side with the 71 in behind him.
That 97 car just reminds me of Chad Little. I mean, he's got the same number font and the same color scheme, but it's just so noticeable it stands out, and he's standing out as well, having a solid run in 15th, but Newbigging trying to get around him on the inside. Going to have some push behind him from Ed Robertson through 3 and 4.
97 kind of gives me Crayola, right? Like the green and, or is it Crayola or
John Deere?
No, not John Deere. What's the pencil brand, Ticonderoga or whatever?
Oh, Ticonderoga, yeah.
Yeah.
That is Ticonderoga.
I always used to joke with people that don't know cars that I had a 2010 Dixon Ticonderoga.
Oh, really? What's the mileage you have on it?
Well, take it to the shop a couple times a day to keep it sharp, you know. Here comes Matheson up to the outside out of 4. And the battle for the lead's not over. Blaze McKinney has crept into this mix. Started this race in 19th place, and he's done nothing but go forward.
Yeah, he got past Jake Nichols not too long ago, and he's been able to kind of step forward. In fact, Nichols has actually dropped back a couple positions, back to 6th, but McKinney now got his sights set on Matheson and Kwame Scott potentially for the lead.
Yeah, showing up for Powerhouse Racing, running inside the top 3. Got a pretty good car. He's got 1 win to his name, and that came at Indianapolis a season ago with a perfectly timed restart back when it was just 1 attempt at a green white checker. Now we got 3. But McKinney running in the 3rd spot. He's got Tyler Gary behind him, who's also crept his way towards the front throughout the evening.
Connor Horn's up here as well, that 42, looking pretty strong. Another driver we haven't really mentioned at all, Peyton Howell in the 52, quietly inside the top 10 in the championship standings. Here he is looking for 11th on the inside of a Solar Flare Toyota.
Yeah, he's only got 1 top 10 to his name, but second finishes, his other 2 finishes are also fairly consistent, 14th and 15th. So he's been keeping it calm and collected and consistent up near the front this season. That's been getting him in some solid points as he runs. Will qualify for the playoffs come the end of the regular season, if he can keep it up. Looking at Jake Nichols, he's getting fought with Edward Shearer Jr. making a move to the inside of that number 17.
It's a battle for 6th going on between the 2 purple-colored cars, and Matthew Bell behind him, trying to get a good look at what to expect. Might try to make it 3 whites. Got Seth Knoll to his bumper, though. Not sure how he's going to be able to manage that, but Nichols with the run to the outside.
Ada Matthew Bell creeping up here, trying to jump up to the outside lane. Seeing that outside be a pretty good place to move, even with the night racing aspect of it. Big lift there for Bell, though. He wasn't able to keep the throttle down.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have to drop back in behind, but Seth Knoll still fighting on that inside. And trying to see if he can get a run, but that outside lane really seems to be the place to be. As you can see, Blaze McKinney using it to defend from an advance from Tyler Gary in that 62 car.
And just getting a peek to the inside. McKinney giving him some room, but not enough room to go along in his quarter panel trying to make a move. They're working on a lap car, but Gary found a run off 4. Now we got a side-by-side battle for 3rd. Connor Horn, Jake Nichols entering the party.
Yeah, the intensity's heating up here a little. We'll see if the 73 spectates or if he'll get into it. 42, big push center corner, and Nichols throttles up on the outside.
There goes a little bit of a freight train there. Connor Horn's going to get stuck back in line. The 17, a little bit of a bump off into the corner. Nichols up high, Connor Horn down low.
Well, you can fit the entire top 9 under a blanket, all within a second of each other, being led by Kwame Scott. But right in the middle of that, Nichols and Horn side by side for 5th. Top 5 spot on the line. Horn to the inside, Nichols to the outside. Meanwhile, towards the back half, that's Ricky Springer entering the party. So trying to make it the first 10 cars all within a second.
Connor Horn swings low, jumps back in line. All the while, Tyler Gary brings his attack up to 2nd place. Matheson's going for the lead on the outside as Kwame Scott through turn 4. Here he comes. Little side draft there across the stripe.
Trying to get a run. He does get a decent run off into turn 1. It's just a matter, can he execute by keeping that momentum going all the way around? And Tyler Gary right there. Look at that. 2 of the NASCAR Esports Coca-Cola Series drivers, 2nd and 3rd here in the area. And Jake Matheson's getting swarmed by both of them at the moment.
Yeah, Matheson's got Tyler Gary all over his bumper, looking out the dash of his 62 car. Scott still with a run to the inside, going to try and slide in between the 2. He'll hit the wall. Down to the inside, Tyler Gary trying to get a run for 2nd. Meanwhile, they're side by side for 4th in the back.
That was big commitment there by Kwame Scott. That almost bit him in a big way. He keeps the pedal to the floor, and this battle for 2nd will allow Matheson to scoot away just enough, I think, now to hold this lead for the next few laps. But 2 juggernauts of NASCAR's iRacing series battling for 2nd, and Nichols watching on from 4th. Can he pick the pocket of one of these 2?
I think he's just trying to see how this battle plays out. I would think he want to go on that outside. He's been liking that lane a little bit more, and indeed he will go up high, but Gary, a great lunge to the inside in turns 1 and 2.
Good run on corner exit for Jake Nichols. Going to go to the outside. Gary shuts the door. Down to the inside goes Nichols. Side by side for 3rd. He'll have a run heading into 3. Scott going to try and close in on Matheson. Meanwhile, Nichols trying to slide up in between the 2. not going to have enough of a run.
Yeah, Jake read the track really well there. He saw what was going on, that Gary would be compromised on corner exit, but Jake didn't have enough momentum to clear him into turn 3, so he's going to try to do the same thing again. He's going to set him up, but look at the 87. He's got to keep his eye on the rear view as well to make sure that McKinney doesn't slot in there, and Nichols wasn't able to be as aggressive that time in his pursuit of Gary.
In behind, McKinney now dealing with Connor Horn, trying to make a charge to the inside in turn 3. As the leaders are dealing with the lap car. I'm trying to figure out who that lap car is.
57, I believe, Emerson Arden.
Yep, and he's going to slow down, get out of the way. Nichols and Gary side by side for third. Nichols trying to take advantage of the lap car.
Lap car in the wall, trying to get out of the way from the lead lappers as Scott has a run to the outside, trying to keep second away from Jake Nichols. Tyler Gary trying to get a run. Connor Horn in 5th, watching all this unfold in front of him. He's trying to get closer to the mix with Matheson still leading.
So we'll see if Connor doesn't see Jake hit the apron there.
Contact behind. McKinney and Shearer Jr. making contact in the middle of 3 and 4. Looks like they're going to sort themselves out, but Connor Horn, as you mentioned, ahead, and he's trying to make a lunge at the 73.
Good battles here throughout 1 and 2. Tyler Gary trying to get underneath Kwame Scott. Scott will have a run. Will he make a move to the inside of Matheson for the lead? No, he'll keep it in his pocket. He'll instead look to the outside. Nichols to the outside as well. Great racing throughout the top 5 and top 10.
Yeah, this has been really exciting stuff, and Scott's going to go back to the bottom here. He's going to open the door. Maybe get a shove contact there for the top spot. They're side by side entering turn 1. Wrestling for the lead, and Scott's through. Matheson up high, and Gary and Nichols are attacking through the open door here.
Everyone's taking advantage of the situation, trying to make up ground where they can. Once the door is open, everyone is trying to flood through it. Jake Matheson trying to look a little bit offset from Kwame Scott as Gary and Nichols are fighting it out for third. Nichols trying to get that run off the corner, see if he can carry it on through.
Top 5 within 3 car lengths of each other. Connor Horn closing in on the mix. Matheson going to have Jake Nichols peeking to the outside through 1 and 2. A big send from the 73. Gary going to lose 4th to Connor Horn for the time being, but Kwame Scott looking to drive away from it all.
Trying to, but Nichols has got a big run coming. He's been slowly but surely working his way forward by reading the racetrack and using the right opportunities. And here he comes now to the outside quarter panel of Kwame Scott. Not enough, though, out of turn 4.
Yeah, look at the top 5 at the moment. Jake Nichols, Jake Matheson, Connor Horn, 3 of the fastest drivers in the series, duking it out with NASCAR Esports Pros up at the top, and they're in a dogfight as Nichols throws it to the inside. He's going to slide in front of the 36, and he will secure the lead from the moment.
Now the big enough run to make a crossover attempt through 4, and now Nichols has clear sights in front of him. Kwame Scott in behind, but Nichols looking to drive away from everything behind him. Still side by side for third. Connor Horn clearing for Jake Matheson, now fighting to hold on to 4th with Tyler Gary, and even behind them, McKinney and Shearer Jr. still trading spots.
Yeah, they were trading paint too, and I think they've had enough of each other for now, and they probably need a break. McKinney goes way up the hill, trying to use that Larson line to kind of shoot the outside lane. He's going to carry that momentum onto the backstretch, maybe give the 17 a push.
There they go into, whoa, a big jump for the 17 up to the outside lane. Not sure that was planned or not, but he's trying to make a move out there, see if he can get something going, and we'll get to the outside of Matheson.
And Matheson on his way back through the top 10. Shearer Jr. trying to climb inside the top 5 with a strong run on the outside. McKinney there as well. Bell, Nolan, Payton, Howell rounding out the top 10 as laps are starting to dwindle here. Less than 50 to go from Charlotte.
Yeah, I'd start considering pit lane soon. I mean, maybe if you're in the heat of battle, Finian, because we're about halfway through this run. You've got about 47 laps to go now, 43 laps on the tank. So maybe start thinking about when you're going to come down pit road.
Yeah, honestly, I'm Jake Matheson. I may want to consider coming into the pits because he's getting freight trained by everyone. It seems like he's burned up his stuff from being up at the front. His tires are spent. He might want to consider coming on down to pit lane and kind of cutting, maybe doing a little bit of an undercut here because he's only really going to start dropping more and more back as more and more cars catch him.
You got a lap car in front of him. Not sure who it is. It might be, is that Nathan Jump?
On the outside there.
That is Adam Cabot.
Oh boy. Hey, he's moved up to 40th. Technically, it's higher than he started.
As it runs, he could end up 35th with the amount of drivers that have retired.
Not half bad. Not half good either. Well,
so marry you.
I'm a glass
Not
half full
tonight.
kind of guy, Finian. Matthew Bell in the number 8. Chasing Peyton Howell in the 52.
Thought I saw someone down on pit lane.
You sure did. That was Dom DeLeo.
He's one of the first. Yeah, one of the first to come on down, but he is a lap, of course, 6 laps down. Still none of the leaders biting.
Yeah, looking to see when they're going to make a stop. Meanwhile, is that Peyton Howell in the back, side by side?
Yep.
He is. Yeah, back half of the top 10 here. Peyton Howell trying to hold 9th from Matthew Bell. Bell actually working his way backwards. Got Michael Curran trying to enter the top 10.
Peyton Howell, very solid run for him. We haven't really mentioned his name a whole lot this season just because he's had some really consistent, solid, quiet runs in areas, and he's looking pretty quick at this later point of the run. He's really saved up his stuff, catching the 1 and the 87 as they battle right ahead of him. Seth Knoll throwing to the inside of Blaze McKinney, and they're both right in behind the 54 right there, Jake Matheson. Oh.
Almost contacted off turn 4 there. Knoll to the inside of McKinney. McKinney starting to work his way backwards as well. Still got Matheson up there. Payne Howell to the inside of McKinney as Knoll clears for 7.
Well, Jay Nichols has led the last few. Almost 50 laps on this stint. Anytime they could hit pit lane.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised no one's really kind of chopped up the bit to get down to pit lane. At least one driver up in this mix to get a little bit early, get some sort of difference on strategy going. But it looks like they're all comfortable out there running on these tires as Seth Knoll makes another dive to the inside. Matheson, he'll slide up and clear the 54. McKinney now on the inside trying to do the same.
Good battle here as Howell going to try and give a shove to McKinney, but instead going to look to the outside and going to be tight there with Matheson almost colliding there as the double 52s. And yes, he is seeing double because the Nexus scheme's still on the Matheson number 54 is what it's supposed to be, but nonetheless still side-by-side racing in the back half of the top 10.
This is good stuff. As far as the not pitting, though, I mean, everyone just wants to have the advantage come into the end of the race, but if they all stay out, nobody will have an advantage, and maybe that's okay too. But I think if you come in early, you have an opportunity to capitalize on everyone kind of having second thought. Oh, actually, as I say that,
there we go.
Tyler Gary
on down.
And Tyler Gary. No cold feet here.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is, I think, going to bring everyone on down now that the 2 front runners are coming.
Yeah, interesting when the rest of the leaders are going to come down pit road. Still side by side, Howell and Matheson through 3.
Little shuffling here. Matheson to the bottom of the racetrack. Is he going to hit pit lane this time? He will not. Connor Horn.
Yep. And Jake Matheson, I think, we're on down. Nope, never mind. Matheson just lost some position. That's why I thought he was going on down as well.
Trying really hard not to get on a certain Instagram account when we talk about drivers hitting pit lane. We're doing really good. I was paying attention.
Oh, more comers and goers.
See, that
the
was
1
not...
and the 52.
Carry on.
Seth Knoll coming on down. Peyton Howell as well.
Phrasing again. Jake Nichols leads the way out of 2. Kwame Scott is right there in the 36. And he might have a shot at the lead here. We're now 38 laps to go. The clock is ticking.
Yeah, at some point these drivers are going to have to, make a trade-off. Do they want to have fresh tires to the end versus, having not enough laps to really execute that? Matthew Bell, as well as Michael Curran making the trip.
Yes.
Oh, and for the lead, Kwame Scott died to the inside of the 73. They're fighting it out while everyone else is coming down pit lane behind them.
On board the 73 as laps are dwindling. Cars coming down pit road, getting their final service of the night.
73, I think, is going to hit pit lane this time. He will. On the brakes, he's going to spook the 36. There was no way Scott could have made that. And looks like the 97 of Schaefer is also making his final trip down pit road.
Scott out there by his lonesome at the moment. A little bit of a gap back to Edward Shearer Jr. trying to catch up. And I imagine that 36, he's going to have to head on down there to pit lane this time by. Nope.
Stays out again.
He likes what he sees. Oh, Edward Shearer Jr. coming on down.
I heard someone just crunched.
Uh-oh.
Any investigation?
I will try to find someone.
Scott leads the way by 3 seconds with 35 laps to go. He's got all but 10 cars trapped a lap down, but this time he will have to make his trip. He will do so. Matheson's going to stay out another one, so will... No, he will not. Bailey Turner hits pit lane.
Yeah, most of the leaders at this point have kind of cycled on down a pit lane. Leading the charge of drivers off pit lane is currently Connor Horn ahead of Tyler Gary, then Peyton Howell.
There's the difference. You see Jake Matheson getting past the blink of an eye by a couple of the solar flare cars that have already pit, but his hope is that he'll have enough time in this race to utilize some fresh tires at the end of this thing. But with only 34 laps to go, I don't know if he's leaving himself enough time to do that running down.
I almost wonder if he's just kind of hoping with enough chaos and difference and tire life that there might be a caution that comes out.
I wouldn't have bet on that. I don't think he would have either, but we'll see.
I feel like at this point, because I feel like he's kind of missed a decent window to come on down, I don't think he's got enough laps left.
Yeah, I think the only thing that he might be doing is trying to get enough of a gap that the tires actually make a difference, right? Because if you pit too close to the other cars, then you will come out behind them and not have a big enough advantage. But then you have to weigh that with how much time you have left, which I think he might be getting close to surpassing.
Yeah, he's nearing 60 laps on his stint right now. I would assume he'd be coming in within the next handful of laps or so, because you don't want to stay out too long, and then you don't have enough time left to utilize the new tires and navigate your way through the field. But
again,
still going out.
And now I'm starting to side with Finian here. I don't know why he would have tried this. He's running well enough.
Matheson circles around and continues to run down the laps. Michael Curran, Edward Shearer Jr., Douglas Dubing are in an interesting fight. One of the closest battles on the racetrack between these two for position. And actually, as I say that now, the battle between Tyler Gary, Peyton Howell is also duking out. It's a battle for potentially second place once this whole cycle's out.
Tyler Gary, Peyton Howell, once everyone cycles through, the top 5 have yet to pit, but when they do, this will be the battle for second. But for now, it's 7th, held by Gary, 8th by Howell, and then Matheson still leading. Still has yet to pit.
Yeah, same with Bunkari, Shane Wolf, Ryan Swan, Mason Kane. Connor Horn is the first of those that already have pit with a make that 1.8 second lead over Tyler Gary, but that is closing quickly.
Well, almost 3 wide there for a second in the corner. There's Philip Dorner working his way on through in the middle.
.30 laps to go.
I think you can only go maybe about 10 more laps, just about with the fuel save from the cautions we had earlier.
Is it Matheson driving or is it Brad Keselowski?
Brad Keselowski won this race.
Man, if Kyle Busch never wrecked, we never would have known if Keselowski had enough to make it. This is the performance that Matheson's kind of resembling of, because 62 laps on a set of tires and fuel, that's a long time.
Oh, car on the wall. Is that the 22?
I don't know who that was.
Yeah, it is the 22. Dom DeLeo up at the wall there. Tyler Gary and Peyton Howell still battling. This is fierce.
Almost put each other into the wall there. That 52, he wants that spot. He knows he feels he has a faster car than the 62 Tyler Gary. This could be a fantastic finish for Peyton Howell. We're talking about him getting some decent spots here or there outside the top 10. At the moment, when everything cycles out, he's looking to inherit second place. This has gone around the 62.
And Peyton Howell, 9th in points. He's finished inside the top 15 in all 3 races, but top 5 finish here would be huge for that 52. But Jake Nichols joining the party now. Mason Kane, a lap car, going to be a little bit of a factor for this for the moment. But Jake Nichols closing in on Tyler Gary and Peyton Howell.
Connor Horn's an interesting spot. I thought he was a little less ahead than he was. It's 2.7 now. He's running about the same time as Howell and Gary, but that was because they were fighting. So if he can bide his time here and not burn up his stuff, Finian, it's going to take him 10, 12 laps to catch him, and then he can try to put on a defense. I like where this 42 put himself, though. That was an undercut strategy by a lap or 3 over Peyton Howell and Tyler Gary.
Yeah, plus also second, third, and fourth are about to start. What will be second, third, and fourth are about to start fighting for position. In fact, Nichols making a move on the 62 using the lap car. Seth Berger as a pick to get around the 62. Gary, who will indeed make the pass, get ahead of him. So now Jake Nichols going to set his sights on Peyton Howell.
Well, Nichols makes easy work of Howell like he did with Tyler Gary. I think there might be enough time for that 73 to close in. Can have a look to the inside. Not sure if he'll have the run off the corner, but he'll definitely be alongside the quarter panel, and he will for the time being.
I think he'll have enough time to get to Connor Horn. The question is he going to be able to battle him and beat him, right? I mean, the defense that Connor's going to put on is going to be pretty fierce. It hasn't been a phenomenal season for the 42, so he's going to be throwing that car around to keep the 73 behind. And I don't think there's any love lost between Nichols and Horn in the past when they get feisty. Where they've worked together at times, but also pretty fierce competitors.
Jake Matheson still out there on the track. And I guess the big thing, if you're wondering why he is kind of throwing such a risky strategy, he does have a win this season, so he's locked into the playoffs. So I guess he figured, I just will just throw something on the wall and see if it sticks.
I just don't know if he needed to do this.
No, he absolutely didn't need to do this, but he didn't have to also, go along with everyone else. I think he was trying to see, just for fun.
In the name of science.
In the name of science, yes.
Or like a theory. But
a hypothesis.
Yeah, hasn't been proven yet. Cabot's up there in the fence out of turn 4. Matheson continues to lead. Connor Horn back. Well, he's passing a couple other cars that are putting some distance between himself and Jake Nichols, but Nichols is running now a couple tenths a lap faster. And there's still over 20 laps to go.
Yeah, Jake Matheson's now put 69 laps on this stint. Nice. And we'll continue on for 70. He's pushing 70 laps.
Can almost run for president. Sorry.
Yeah, I got to get up around, 78, 80, 82?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. I really prefer if they were almost 90, actually.
Yeah. I'm sure Matheson would you can push 90 because he can finish the race at that point.
Oh, boy.
It would be, 91 or 92?
Yeah.
That'd be really great.
At that point, I'll call him down for a post-race inspection to see what's going on in that car.
I'm on the Supreme Court, too, already. I'm sorry. Anyway. Ooh, spicy takes. 20 laps to go next time by. Jake Matheson leads by 4 seconds. Connor Horn's last lap was a 30.4. Nichols was a 30.2.
No, he's catching him.
Yeah, 1.5 between them. He's going to get there. It's just how quickly will he just patch the 42, if at all?
Well, I was going to say, we always say catching is one thing, passing is another. And with Nichols, I should say, pushing hard, trying to catch Connor Horn, will he have enough tire left to get around the 42? Because you can imagine that Connor Horn's going to fight pretty hard for this, because both of them are going to be going for their first win of the season. And that's going to be very valuable to both of them.
Well, as the gap dwindles between Horn and Nichols, you can see it dwindle more and more between those two and the leader, Jake Matheson, still pushing past 72 laps on a set of tires and fuel. He has yet to come down pit road. Brent Pucari also has yet to come down pit road, as does the 20 of Ryan Swan, but he's fallen back towards 9th now.
And Nichols has the gap to Connor Horn under about a 1.2 second differential. About a 2/10 a lap gain, so he would catch him in about 5 laps if that's the case, leaving Connor 15 laps to play defense, which feels like a long time.
And on lap 73 of his stint, Jake Matheson will head on down to pit lane and finally surrender the lead of the race.
And so will Pucari, and here comes Connor Horn. He'll lead this lap, and it will be his first today.
just like that, the field is sorted out. We're ready to see how this race is going to end up. So Connor Horn, Nichols, Gary, Howell, and Scott, your top 5.
Yeah, 8-car length separating the 42 and the 73, and back there you just saw the passing of the torch for third. Peyton Howell, Tyler Gary getting the better end of that. Howell falling down. Kwame Scott rounds out the top 5.
On the left-hand side of your screen, you can see the laps in stint. This will give you a perspective of who pit when. Connor Horn pit a lap sooner than Gary, and a lap later, or a lap sooner. Did I get that wrong? What?
He's me.
Horn pitted a lap earlier than Tyler Gary, and he pitted 3 laps earlier than Jake Nichols.
What's the max velocity of an unladen swallow?
E equals MC squared.
African or European swallow?
Well, I think a Mongolian one. That's what I was looking for.
The Mongolians. Oh boy.
For the swallows in particular, Hunter.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Out of turn 2, coming to 15 laps to go, and there's your battle for the lead. 0.4 of a second, and Connor Horn is going to have to start getting defensive.
I just realized that's his brother Tyler Nichols in there, the lap car.
Yeah, right behind him.
And as we look at this battle for third is also getting spicy. Tyler Gary, he's having to defend Peyton Howell and Kwame Scott. And Kwame Scott's got the freshest out of anyone in the top 5, and he's only 2 seconds behind the leader.
That could be a late charge here as Gary looks to the inside. Well, actually, Scott looked to the inside of Gary. Shane Wolf is a lap down, but is still right in the mix of this top 5 battle. Meanwhile, up front, Jake Nichols knocking on the door for that lead.
Tight squeeze out of turn 4. Here they come across the stripe. Leaders 1, 2, 2/10 apart, and battle for third is getting physical.
Kwame wants to make quick work of this because he can have a potential shot at grabbing second or first. He will get on through, get past Gary, and so will James Shane will full 75 as he's trying to work his way in through. Meanwhile, for the lead, Horn and Nichols duking it out.
Oh, big send to the inside for Jake Nichols, almost getting into the bumper of Horn. Horn will lead this time through, but will have to defend for 13 more circuits around this track as the 73 Nichols going to prepare for a send into turn 1.
See if he mirror drives off into turn 1. Horn's going to let him get a little higher on the racetrack. I think he's got to drive up the road and make Jake pass him on the bottom. That's a harder play.
Trying to both up a run here. I think the best thing you might have to try to make Connor Horn use up his stuff. Trying to make him flinch there in the middle of the corner there in the 42, but he's just looking forward. Nichols, decent run off the corner. Looks low, looks high. Contact on the front straightaway.
Mirror driving from Connor Horn to the 42, but it's not enough. To the inside for the lead. Jake Nichols takes over. Gonna slide up, and here comes Horn with the crossover move off turn 2.
Side by side for the top spot. Connor Horn does the over-under on Jake Nichols. Is it going to be enough, though, to get the lead back into turn 3? He's at the drive in there with a big head of steam. He will do it. Horn back to the front over Jake Nichols, and Nichols will not be stoked about that. Throttles up and he'll have another run on the front stretch. 11 to go.
Oh, as they're doing this, Kwame Scott is 1 second behind them. As they continue to fight for position, this could potentially be a 3-way battle and not too many laps.
Connor Horn driving it hard in turn 2. Nichols hard on the bottom in the backstretch now as Horn gets to run off the corner, but you mentioned it, Kyle. Kwame Scott closing in on this battle for the lead.
Jake Nichols tried to commit in a big way. He wasn't able to fully clear the 42. Connor's losing grip on this, though. He's got to get a better run down the front stretch and lead into turn 1 to hold on to this. 10 laps to go at Charlotte.
You also got to mention Jake Matheson. He's not in contention for anything at the moment, but he's got a quicker car and trying to work his way on through. So he's going to have to try to get around these two as they're fighting side by side, and they don't want to give an inch.
Will he give a shove to somebody? Yes, the 73.
Oh.
He gives a shot to Jake Nichols, and he goes through to the lead.
And Connor Horn gave a thank you to Jake Matheson there, trying to, he was trying to battle it out and say, well, you're off my Christmas list now.
Yeah, I guess so. 9 to go.
Well, Kwame Scott's in a hard spot because he's got the 2 lap cars right in front of him. They're side by side to his outside. That's Brent Bukhari, also a lap down. So 3 lap cars in the middle of Kwame Scott trying to get to the lead. Matheson goes past Horn for second, almost in the wall, and here comes Scott with the run off turn 2.
I'm Connor Horn. I would make this easier for the 36. Let him go battle the 73. I think he's going to do just that.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much he really can do. He's kind of flanked on all sides with lap cars all over the back of him, so he's going to get a decent run out the corner. He's still going to be fighting with the 36. Looks like he's going to make him somewhat work for it here, but on that entry, that extra tire grip that Kwame Scott's got, he's going to go in front of the 42 and easily take second place.
And this is when, having teammates, and I don't mean actual teammates, but just people that are buddies with you helps, right? Jake Matheson, not a teammate to Jake Nichols, but they're buddies enough where he decided to help him instead of Connor Horn. And that was the critical difference there. I think Connor would have been able to hold on for a few more laps otherwise. 7 laps to go, Scott's through, and his tire advantage is a couple of laps. 2 laps better than Jake Nichols. I don't know if it's enough, but his pace is better. And Shane Wolf drives in on Connor Horn. What was that all about?
I don't know. Connor Horn is probably not going to be happy, a lot of people. Yeah, Jake Madison helped his competitor. James Shanewell just drove in the side of him.
I suppose that he's in a battle too, but I mean, wow.
Let's see. At the moment, he's battling with Brent Picari, so that's why they're fighting hard.
There's just too much going on right now.
There's a lot going on. So Brent Picari and James Shanewell are battling for a position in behind the leaders that are battling for the lead of the race.
Oh, this is not going to end well, is it? Kwame Scott's running out of laps. He's going to follow some of these fresher tired cars.
He slipstream from Picari to get to the 73 Nichols. Nichols is going to get put off a little bit offline.
Oh, but Shane Wolf's there as well, putting pressure to Kwame Scott. He's going to be to his inside. That is not what Kwame Scott needs to see. That is what Jake Nichols wants to see. 5 more laps from Charlotte.
Blue flags are not compulsory in stock car racing, as much as these other drivers would like it to be. Connor Horn's coming back at Kwame Scott with all that chaos. But
he's definitely not going to give this up. He's going to try to see if he can fight him.
Yeah, Jake Nichols is 4 laps from freedom, Hunter.
Yeah, well, he's got Shane Wolf to his inside now. I'm not sure if Shane Wolf's going to make it easy for the 73 because he does have fresh tires.
Nichols should just let him on by, I think.
Well, he can't give up too much ground because then that brings Kwame Scott back into play, but Shane Wolf's going to clear in front of Jake Nichols, and now 4/10 separates the 73 and the 36.
Yeah, about just under 4/10. They need to be a 10th a lap that he needs to take out. Kwame Scott drove in there deep. That was a big gain in 3 and 4 for Kwame Scott.
He backed up the corner a lot, and the 73 Nichols, I think, was dealing with some dirty air off the 45 in the corner, so that didn't really help him a whole lot. Scott's there with 3 to go.
Scott to the outside, Shane Wolf in the middle, and Nichols trying to hold the bottom. That lap car is starting to prove a factor in this finish. Here comes Scott with a massive run down the back.
Kwame Scott is here. He doesn't have a lot of time. He's got a lot of traffic to contend with if he gets past Jake Nichols to the high side in turn 3. Kwame Scott playing some strategy and trying to pass Jake Nichols. There is just 2 laps to go, Finian.
Yeah, Kwame Scott trying to show why he's got the black stripe on his helmet here with 2 to go. It's a dogfight between himself and Jake Nichols for the lead. Scott trying to see if he can get down on the bottom. Nichols going to go up top. Does he have anything for the 36?
Nichols going to try to get a run down the back, but Kwame Scott alongside of him. They're going to be side by side for the lead, heading into 3 with Scott on the inside, sending it deep. So does Nichols on the outside.
Side by side, coming to the white flag. Jake Nichols and Kwame Scott battling for the top spot here at Charlotte. White flag, 1.5 miles to go.
And at the stripe, separated thousandths of a second. Who's going to give up? I can imagine neither is going to give up as they charge into turns 1 and 2.
Nichols with a run on the outside. Scott going to slide up on the inside. They almost make contact through turn 2. Side by side for the win down the backstretch and into 3.
Here we go. Side by side coming to the checkers. Kwame Scott and Jake Nichols muscling door to door through 3 and 4. Who's going to win it at Charlotte? Jake Nichols, Kwame Scott, banging fenders, checkered flag. Who gets there first? That was tight. Photo finish. And it's Jake Nichols by 1/1000th of a second.
That's incredible. Wow, on iRacing scoring, it was a dead heat. It doesn't even separate him by 1/1000th of a second. That was extremely close.
Unbelievable finish we saw. The lap traffic made that so much more interesting. All the chaos, it brought Kwame Scott and Jake Nichols together, and it proved to be one of the best finishes in area history.
1/1000th of a second. That is unbelievable. And Jake Nichols holds off Kwame Scott by just an unbelievably tiny margin. And he's going to burn it down. And on our timing and scoring, it's unofficial, 0.001. On the iRacing official scoring, 0.000, Finian.
Yeah, you can't, I mean, you really can't get closer than that, quite literally, between these two. What a fantastic fight. And props to them for keeping it clean. A little bit of rubber here and there, but, oh.
I mean, this is what we have this camera for, isn't it? Oh, gosh.
Try to line it up.
I mean, this is going to be pretty hard, but let's. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Oh.
And.
It's...
I mean, that's been pretty tight. I mean, I don't think I could call that visually. I mean, you tell me, guys.
Well, my perspective to the naked eye, I wanted to go with Kwame Scott, but in real life photo finishes, every time it's been the car on the outside lane, and it proved to be the car on the outside lane again this time by.
I mean, I can't.
Yeah, I can barely get a frame of them coming across the line.
Here we go. That's about as. I mean, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. Here we go.
That is wild.
I mean, that's the frame that I can get. I mean, it is
rock, paper, scissors.
It is tight. I've never. Have you ever?
No, I have never. I don't think we've ever seen this close of a finish on for an oval race.
To me, that's the visually closest finish we've ever had on SimTV in 6 years. Here's a look at it. Again, official scoring has it as 0.000. Then Connor Horn a couple seconds back. Tyler Gary, Peyton Howell, the rest of your top 5. Kurhan, Scherer Jr. Then Springer and Schaefer round out your top 10, Finian.
Yeah, I was going to say earlier, I think for the last third of that race, I didn't really pay attention to many people towards the end. They're just watching that absolute fantastic battle there. Going off to 11, Bailey Turner, solid recovery for him. Blaze McKinney, Matthew Bell, Max Service, Robertson, Silver, Newbigging. Jake Matheson finishing way back in 18th with the Hail Mary strategy. Didn't quite work out the way he would have liked, with Brent Picari and James Shamewolf rounding out your top 20.
Yeah, they proved to be a big factor in the finish of this race as well. Ryan Swan, through all the chaos that he's been through, 21st, not bad for him. Greg Mitchell, Mason Kane had a car go taking flight in front of him. Finishes 23rd. Groner, Berger, Jump, Tyler Nichols, Scioli, Morton, and Ryan Hartz round out the top 30.
My next question is the finish line straight? That was been a controversy as of late. Look down the rest of the order. Adam Cabot, my pick tonight, did not do so hot. 34th tonight. Travis Beckner out in a crash, not of his own doing. Same with Jeremy Miller. David Weishart down in 38th. Jackson Anderson, Jonathan Oates, the pole sitter, in 40th. And down to 43rd. Those are the cars that started the night. And Garrett Grant, 43rd in this. And Finian, that means he completes the area Agami, which means he's finished in every position, 1 to 43 in an area race.
Yeah, it's a reference to John Boyce for anybody that gets the reference there. But yeah, that's an impressive feat. I mean, he's been the Ironman in this series, running in I think almost every single race that he can in this series. And yeah, so 1 to 43.
We're gonna party it up, Garrett. We're gonna party. McDonald's on me.
Let's have a look or a chat with Connor Horn, who finished this race in 3rd place. Connor, you had to lead up until late. It was a little bit of a battle going on for some lap down cars around you. I mean, you got muscled a little ways there, but just didn't seem like the strategy played out quite in your favor. Take us through it.
It was going to play out fine. It was going to be a battle between me and Nichols. And, I saw Matheson coming and figured he'd drive up to our outside and let us play fair. And he instead cut right down to the point where it just and then he just shoved Nichols. I thought he made a swerve to get under him. It just looked like he shoved him clear. So appreciate him for that. That wasn't even the worst thing. The 75 decided to dictate both me and Nichols' race. He drove me up the racetrack for no reason, which is pretty disappointing that he felt the need to do that for top 20. I guess maybe those come at a premium. I don't know, but I got moved out of the way. My race for the win was already over by then, and then he went up and aero blocked the 73 for whatever reason, and let Kwame get there. I was hoping they could mix it up and I could maybe squeak by, but they raced each other clean. It was a dead heat. I thought Kwame had it from behind. I think the 73 got him literally by the tiniest margin. So congrats to Jake. 2 tires were the right call. There just wasn't enough of a discrepancy between the 2 and 4. So the track position with the 2 tires was the way to go. I just wish lap traffic didn't dictate it, but either way, you'll have that when you have people behind trying to recover for any little bit of finishes they can. I can't thank my team enough, Matthew Tomaleri, for making our paint schemes, supporting the Olympics. I think all our cars looked great. Just a shame a lot of them got taken out besides mine. So shout out Matt Liveries for that. I can't thank Jeremy Miller, Bailey Turner, Adam Cabot enough for hopping on. They're not getting the results they deserve, especially, well, not especially, but all 3 of them have been running well and not getting finishes they deserve. And Jonathan Oates, same thing. He ran great and didn't get the finish he deserved. So shout out to all those guys, and shout out to all the teammates on Tuesday and Thursday that we have running for 609 Motorsports. We'll try to get another win one of these races.
Well, +5 in the points, 7th place in the championship standings leading here, Connor. We'll see you next week at Dover.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you. And it'll be Kwame Scott who comes up just shy, .001 on our timing and scoring, .000 on the official timing and scoring. Kwame, that was an epic battle between you and Jake Nichols, and I know it's disappointing to come up short, but jumping in, making the race, and then driving that Sunoco Chevy to the front, that was cool. Take us through your perspective.
Yeah, man. I just decided to run area again because, you know, this Coke season hasn't really been the best for me. So I've been trying to get more track time in this car, and just figure out a little bit more. But yeah, I'm still in awe over that finish. Like I swear I had it. I really thought I had it. I had the run going into the corner and I had a little bit of a run off, but it just wasn't enough. Jake got me by a millionth of a second, I guess.
It was pretty tight there. You know, the crazy thing is it's not even the closest finish in area history. This was likely between .0005 and 9. And there was one other prior finish that was even closer than this. I think it was at Richmond potentially. But this was an amazing race, Kwame. It was a lot of fun to watch you here. So congratulations on a P2, and we hope to see you back.
Yeah, no, I will definitely be back. Definitely gonna. I'm here to win these races, so I'm gonna do everything I can. And I left everything out on the table right there, so I know I gave it my all. And great race to Jake. That was really hard, clean racing. Can't wait for the next one.
Good stuff. 36, Kwame Scott, second place tonight by just an inch or so. Thanks, Kwame. We'll see you next time.
Yep, thank you.
And Jake Nichols wins this one by an inch. Maybe not even that much, Jake. Second closest finish in area history, which is pretty hard to believe because on the iRacing time and scoring .000, that was unbelievable. Take us through what you saw out your driver's side window coming to the checkers.
I don't know. I'm not even in my seat anymore. I'm just like, that was fun. The whole race wasn't that fun for me because it's just so gripped up, so tight that we're driving off the right front so much. But I mean, we had to give it all, like literally everything we had to try to hold off for that win. And I had a great brawl with Connor. I was a little annoyed at the time, but it's like, I understand, but we're racing for the win, and he knows that, you know, if he gets past, it's over. Like, he has the worst tires, so unless we wreck, I get it why he'd like drive the hell out of me. But somehow I had enough of tire left to brawl with Kwame. I had to pinch him so hard. I didn't have the grip on entry, barely had it on exit. Thought I lost it. I thought I lost the race for a second. I looked and I was like, oh, that's it. We tied and I took the L. But we have barely even, I don't even know how to even describe it. I don't know if it's an inch. I haven't even looked at it. I'm still in the car just sitting here, no clue. That was crazy. I lost barely by a nose last season at Kansas, so I know how it feels to lose in a photo finish sort of style, but I guess we know how to win them too. So that's a great night. Awesome for Seth to clutch up with a 6th after getting damaged. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. That's crazy.
Well, when you go back and look at this finish, you tell me what you see, because I certainly can't tell the difference. And if it wasn't for iRacing being a computer that knows exactly where the cars were, I would say that this has got to get reviewed because it is so close. If this is when you have the photo finish camera in real life, this is when you'd use it. Unbelievable to watch, Jake, and fair play to you guys at the end with a nice, exciting, clean finish.
Thank you. That was that's crazy. I could tell there's maybe, I don't even know. It's hard to judge. There's like a kick out, you know. It's the kick out on the nose of that shark-looking Toyota we got out there. That's all I gotta say, I guess.
Like Lightning McQueen sticking the tongue out there at
Hell
the end.
yeah.
That's what did it. .000. Jake Nichols wins at Charlotte. Jake, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow, guys, that was a fun one, and we kind of got what we expected, a handful of yells at the opening, and then it cleaned up, and from there on out, Finian, an excellent battle for the win, and the second closest finish in area history.
Yeah, what a solid job there. A little bit messy near the start of this race, but at the end, a fantastic battle between Nichols, between Kwame Scott, and between Connor Horn. They all fought extremely hard there at the end, and also very cleanly there to give us such a fantastic fight.
Yeah, I mean, this race had everything for the avid hardcore fan and the regular casual fan. We had massive wrecks, we had cars flying in the air, and then we had a photo finish to cap it off. It's pretty hard to top that, Kyle. We got trucks here tomorrow night. We got the Pro Series Thursday night. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to top that. That was just phenomenal from these Cup guys.
Yeah, I mean, they put on a show so far this season. I anticipate that the trucks and area Florida State Builders Pro Series guys will have some work to do to get to that point, but what an unbelievable drive by Jake Nichols and Kwame Scott. And that will do it for our broadcast here tonight. We're heading to the Northeast next week, Dover, Delaware, the Monster Mile. It's known for eating race cars and spitting them right back out. We'll see you from the concrete canyons of Dover next week.